is Dukes and Bell. Do you like the people you work with? Not you, Mike. Not you, Big Bo. And Chris, you better not say anything. Do you like the people you work with? If you do, more than likely, your production at whatever you do is going to be up, okay? Right. You go in every day and you're like, man, I hate Bo. Bo, I don't hate you. Man, Turtle, I hate him. Turtle, I don't hate you. But if you did that, your production is not going to be what it should be. And Mike, I'm big on this. I think in sports it matters. I'm not telling you we got to hang out every night and we got to do dinners and all that stuff because every guy in professional sports doesn't do that. But I do think that you have to play for each other. And I do think that once you get in that clubhouse, and I'm talking about our Braves, that there is this connection that goes on. And, Mike, I think we got it. Like, I think that happens with the Braves. Now, Charlie Morton was asked this about this weekend. He was asked about it, and he was like, look, I've been on championship teams. He played for the Astros. He played with the Rays when they went to the World Series. And he's like, this has probably been the best place that I've been when it comes to that. So when we talk about the Braves and why we're playing so well, listen, we are talented. There's no doubt about that. We got a deep lineup. Pitching staff has stepped up. The bullpen is really good. But what's the other thing? And I think the other thing is what we're talking about, Mike, is that clubhouse chemistry that makes up a team that may give you that extra something. Listen, Ozuna talked to Money Harris and pumped him up and got him going.
I know you're struggling now, man. You're the best outfielder in the game. The best outfielder, okay? So you're good enough. Gosh darn it, people like you. You can snap out of this. I'm Ozuna from the Braves.
And he did. I mean, did you expect that from Marcell Ozuna?
No, I mean, I think because two things. I know something, not every Braves fan, it's hard to quantify this. Some people just love the gotcha moments in this town, and I'll never understand that. I mean, I don't know. Oh, yeah, he's that guy. Boo! Shame! Yeah, it was awkward. It was awful, pretty awful. But the thing that happened with his wife isn't what you think happened. And talk to the courts because that's not how it went down. I think you know what happened. It's not what happened. DUI is embarrassing. Nobody should do it. It was adjudicated. But, I mean, these people that want to run people out, we only run people out when they don't do their job. And we were very close to Marcell Ozuna because he was being stupid off the field, and he also wasn't doing his job. And as we said, Carl, the reality of it is you can't trade him. The contract makes him impossible to move. So the best thing you can hope for is he comes out of it, which he has. But the number one thing, which I think Braves fans forget, these guys like him. He's a likable knucklehead, whatever. There's no nastiness. He's not a cancer in the clubhouse. None of that exists.
Yeah. So if you can do that and play for the guy that's next to you and play and root and cheer for guys that you think they don't care about each other, then you get to this point where you're playing great baseball, guys are building each other up, and you're winning games. And so, Mike, right now, you asked earlier, are we the best team in the National League? Yeah, I think we are the best team in the National League. There are a lot of teams, again, we went out west. That D-back series was big. That was a big series because, again, we're just not accustomed to talking about the D-backs being any good. But that's a good club. And to win that series in the way that we did, Mike, I think it was one of those moments, again, this particular season where you go, we got it.
Two things. We're going to need pitching. And I don't mean, scrap heap, cheapest option you can find. I think the Braves need to look. We get it. The Mets are the poster boys for spending crazy. They're spending $180 million more than the Braves. I'm not talking about spending to spend. I'm talking about you need it. Guy just hit me up. Shout out to Marshall. He follows us on Twitter. He says Braves are good. I just hope they don't win the divisions in one chip like the teams did in the 90s. And I'm with him. This team is loaded. We just talked about it, 1 through 9, even with the slumps and guys missing. But we've run out of pitching. You know my mantra. We ran out of pitching last year in the Phillies. Phillies in no way they should have gone. I know teams get hot. We were a better team than that. We needed better frontline pitching. So I'm with you. Let's go spend on some starting pitching because you can't tell me, Carl, no, keep your fingers crossed. Fried and Wright will be okay. So let's go get the starting pitching. The bats are there. Maybe another arm in the bullpen. That's my only concern for the long haul. I need more pitching.
So let me say this about the Braves of the 90s. Because, one, you're spoiled. All right? We just are. They won 14 straight. It'll never happen again. I don't care what anybody says. But, Mike, you got to win the division to get into the playoffs.
Right. Well, in this division, wild cards have won the World Series twice. But I know what you're saying.
You're right. If you're going to tell me every year that we're depending on the wild card to get in, you're rolling the dice. I'd rather own or have control my own fate and get in by winning the division. So you have to do one to get a chance at doing the other. So I get it. But part of that is you're spoiled. If you were here in the 90s and the early 2000s, you're like, oh, I'm tired of seeing this. Because you're right. They should have won more. I don't think there's anybody in their right baseball mind that says that this Braves organization should have won more. But I don't want to compare that to what we've seen over the last 5 years or maybe even the next, 4 or 5 years.
But my point is you can't do half measures when it comes to the starting pitching this trade deadline. It's a big arms race in this league, and maybe the Mets do try to spend their way out of it. Who knows? Maybe for the best thing, they throw out the white flag. My point is, Carl, we've got the best team. We got one of the top teams in baseball. We took out the legacy teams, the Astros and the Dodgers in 21. This team should have gone to the World Series last year, I believe.
Yep.
We didn't have enough pitching. All I'm saying is let's not make the World Series this year for lack of not having the best pitching we can get. The best pitching money can buy. Contract control be damned. Let's go get the best pitching.
All right, and I have no issues with that because I do agree with where we're at. And the reason why, Acuna for life. He's finally getting the recognition he deserves. Today, Major League Baseball released its first AllStar Game balloting update. You guys know who the number one vote getter is? Ronald Acuna Jr. It's called respect. It's called everybody else in Major League Baseball recognizing that dude is special. And so
they say use some common sense.
Yeah, thank you. It's not Shohei Ohtani. And I love Shohei Ohtani, and he's doing amazing things, and we're not probably seeing anything like that ever again either. I mean, it's been, 100 years since Babe Ruth played. But Acuna has received the most votes. And I just think, Mike, when you talk about where this team is, that is a big reason. Now you're going to have guys representing our team, starters in the All-Star game. We should have more than any other team, in my opinion, if this continues and we're rolling, 15, 18 games in front above 500. We should have multiple All-Stars. But this speaks to what you're talking about. How good is this team? So if Alex Anthopoulos and the front office is committed to getting us an opportunity to win another World Series. Right. It's not guaranteed, but you have to try to do everything you can to get there, and that's what Mike's talking about. And I have no issues with that. If you're telling me we need to go add 2 top-line starters for you to feel better, for us to get there, I'm cool with that.
Right. Look, we've showed our mettle, handled all these injuries, these slumps. Talked about, Austin Riley got off to a slow start. Talked about Michael Money Harris coming out of it. This team has been able to weather all these body blows, and everybody in the division's had to deal with it. But guess what? I don't know when Fried's coming back. I don't know when Wright's coming back. I don't know if Soroka's coming back. Is Soroka going to get another? They're going to give Soroka another shot at the title? That's what I'm saying. Let's go get some starting pitching guys, and let's go. And guys like, well, what about? I don't care. The team is young. Carl, you got all these young guys locked up under contract. With all due respect to your prospects in the minor leagues, let's go get some serious stuff. And I don't care what you got to sell to get it. Because it's about winning the World Series. It's not about the division. Yes, you must win the division to get there, but these fans want more, and this team should get more because this is the window.
As far as how cool this is for Acuna, and if this continues, and I hope it does, you're talking about Dale Murphy, who led the All-Star voting in 85. And then you're talking about the great Henry Aaron, who did it in 70 and 71. That's it. Out of all these great Braves teams, all these great Braves players we've seen come and go through this city 3 times. And now you're talking about Ronald Acuna leading vote getter as we speak.
Hey, he's 100%. Finally he's ready to go. He looked great back in October, November.
He did.
Playing down there in Venezuela. This guy has just been on fire. He's on the tear. We've always expected it, and this is, you said it. You called down the thunder back in February, but this is the year for MVP for Acuna.
Yeah, man. I just listen, and when he came up, just being around baseball for the time that I was, they're special guys, and I knew and I felt like he was, and talking to people in the organization, and then he took off. You guys know how this started. He took off, and the injury set him back. But I just despise people who, at the time, were telling me that Juan Soto was a better player. Yeah. He's not. He's not. Not better than this dude. This dude is better. And it's being proven again right now. So 100% Juan Soto, 100% Ronald Acuna. Give me Ronald Acuna every day of the week.
And just a sidebar to the All-Star story about Acuna getting the most votes. We all said it earlier in the show, and we talked about, Vaughn Grissom. I was really high on Vaughn Grissom. Going to be the next Michael Harris. He's got to come up now. And he wasn't ready. And the manager knew it, and the general manager knew it. Alex came on our show. They give Arcia a contract. Let's be honest, Carl. He's now leading the shortstops in the National League for shortstop All-Star balloting. He's been unbelievably clutch.
Who would have thought that, Mike? Like, seriously.
Nobody.
If you're telling me, man, I knew Arcia would be leading the leading vote getter at his position, you're lying. The crazy thing is Sean Murphy leads all NL catchers. So you're talking about potentially Acuna.
By nearly 200,000 votes, by the way.
Arcia, you're talking about Sean Murphy. Is Austin Riley going to be there? He's second among NL third baseman.
Right.
Mike, he's going to be at the All-Star game. This is what I'm talking about. And then what about Ozzy? He's second right now.
Yep, second base. No, but that goes back to when we talk about how loaded this lineup is. And let's be honest, the way Ozuna's swinging the bat with d'Arnaud, you've got the bench hitting you need. That's why I'm just saying, we just got to go get that starting pitching. That's all I want.
All right, full rosters, by the way, are going to be announced July 2nd for the All-Star game. But point is, guys, we're going to have multiple guys there. And when you do that, that's a team that people recognize around the league that should be in contention to win a World Series. Astros did this a few years ago. Dodgers did it a few years ago. I'm talking about sending not just one, not two, not multiple guys. All right, 404-726-0929. What is it about our team? There's a lot of things going on with this club, but, man, they're on pace to maybe win more games than they did last year, and that would mean they won more games in the year than we won the World Series. Right. So Rob Thompson will be managing the National League team because the Phillies are repping the National League as the National League champions. And with all due respect, the Phillies left to start doing a lot of hitting if he's going to try to stack the deck with Phillies.